There was no Netflix. There was no YouTube. In the 90s, if you wanted to watch a movie, you watched what was on TV or you went down to the video store and rented a VHS. Our next guest has leaned hard into that nostalgia. He goes by the name Analog Hermit on Instagram. He collects old electronics and VHSs, turns them into video mixes, and he's on the line now to tell us more. Analog Hermit, welcome to Blue Sky.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. Thanks for being here. So where did your fascination with VHSs come from?
I think just being sort of an AV club kid, except there was no AV club in my small town, so it was just basically me editing on 2 VCRs, recording programs, making my own videos. VHS was really my jam, my format. You know, I used to record all my favorite shows, but the thing was is you had to be there at a certain time to hit record, right? You had to be ready. Well, that's something we don't really have to worry about today with streaming.
Yeah, and also you wanted to get music, you'd have to be listening to the radio when your song came on so that you could record it right off the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Like watching TV was a big thing for me because it was a pipeline to a lot of music, much music, MTV, and just other interests that I had, you know, like wrestling and sports and hockey and stuff like that. So it was a good time. It was, you know, very attentive. You had to be there. You had to sit down. You had to watch it. There was no progress bar, you know, no internet, no ads on the screen to click off onto, nothing to draw your attention away. It just was a beautiful time.
What were you watching on TV in the 90s?
I was watching a lot of MTV, a lot of TBS, stuff like, you know, the sitcoms that we were all used to, you know, Full House, Family Matters.
Home Improvement with JTT.
Home Improvement, exactly, Home Improvement, yeah. Married with Children is another one that comes to mind. There are just, you know, good, wholesome shows, that half-hour sitcom that we don't really get a lot of now today with streaming. So, yeah, it was awesome.
And where did you get your movies? Where did you rent them?
So, yeah, we had a video store. I'm from a small town, and we had a place in town that we would rent movies from, and then if we got sick of that selection, we could go to the next town and go to that video store and also rent some more. And back at that time too, a lot of people didn't even have a VCR, so you had to rent the VCR, which came in this humongous road case, I remember. And for my sister's 16th birthday party, we rented this thing, and they watched, I think it was Footloose. And I just remember, you know, all these teenage girls going crazy over this movie, and then from there, you know, we ended up getting one eventually, and yeah, renting movies. We never really bought a lot of movies. We mostly rented. So for me now, as a VHS collector, you know, I've kind of fulfilled that ownership, and I think that's a big reason why, you know, people are reverting back to analog equipment and retro tech, is because it's tactile, it's yours, you have ownership over that product, so there's a lot of entitlement there.
How many VHS tapes do you have?
I haven't counted in a while, but I would say upwards to about 3,000.
Okay.
Or so, yeah.
And what are you doing with them?
Well, 1,000, about a third of those, of that collection is documentaries and sort of weird oddities, local TV tapes that I found. And I basically use that to play back in a bunch of VCRs. So they're called video jams. And it started with retro tech videos, just doing videos on old equipment, collecting a lot of vintage video gear. You know, back in the day, those things were very expensive. To have a VHS camcorder was like $1,200, right? So our family never had one as a kid, but when they started becoming a little cheaper, not so much now, but back maybe like 10 years ago, you could pick one up for $20. So that sort of fulfilled that dream of having that. And basically I have 6 analog cameras, 12 VCRs, and a DVD player, a feedback loop, and some MacBook White laptops playing back 25 various different feeds of different things, going into 8 analog switchers, and then I switch between each feed to sort of recreate that channel surfing vibe from the 90s. So it's very much like time traveling. It's the closest thing that you can get to time traveling, in my opinion.
Okay, what do you get out of it?
I think it's a lot of nostalgia. It's a lot of just, being kind of nerdy, hooking up old technology, making sure everything works properly. It's just sharing that randomness that used to be channel surfing, right? You never knew what you were going to get. It's so random, and it's different every time, depending on what was broadcasting, right? And I never had cable we never had cable on the farm. We had Farmer Vision, so 2 channels. But eventually we did get a mini ditch. But before that, going to a friend's place and seeing like 1,000 channels on their big dish kind of blew my mind as a kid. And so it's kind of bringing back that nostalgia of satellite TV, cable TV, which, my grandma had. So when we would get babysat, we would watch various programs. She had her programs from different cities in the United States. So it felt like you were very much connected to these different places that you wouldn't normally. I mean, some of these cities I didn't even know existed, right?
Okay, so out of the 3,000 VHSs that you have, what are the ones that are almost worn out?
Some of the best ones I have?
Yeah, the ones you watched the most.
Definitely growing up, I watched Happy Gilmore and Aladdin. Those were sort of the 2 big ones, a lot of Disney movies as a kid, and then later sort of comedy, Jim Carrey movies. The Cable Guy comes to mind. That's one of my favorite movies. Ace Ventura, like I said, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, being connected to Saturday Night Live at the time too was a big deal. Like Chris Farley and all these other great comedians that would turn to movies and do their own movies. It was that was my thing for sure.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us a little bit about what you're doing. If people want to see some of your video jams, they can go to Analog Hermit on Instagram. Do you have any other performances or anything coming up that you want people to know about, or how should people find your work?
AnalogHermit.com takes you straight to my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is sort of where I do the longer video jams, and I do these live as well. It's all live. So I do live streams, but then I also have the recordings uploaded on the video's main page there. So YouTube is sort of the spot for the long-form video jams, and then Instagram, I post clips basically supporting that. So you'll get kind of different things in different places, but I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, Facebook.
And VHS.
And soon to be distributing, VHS products as well.
Of course. Okay. Thank you so much for joining the conversation today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And, another big influence for this, too, is local broadcast news like CBC and those other networks in the 90s that sort of become ingrained in your memory. I think of like Kevin Hirsch for the Farmgate. His voice is ingrained in my mind forever. And I had a chance to meet with him and work with him. So just little I guess, local legends, celebrities.
You bet. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.
You too. That was Analog Hermit, and you can find his work on YouTube and all the places. And I want to bring in a caller right now.